Guys, today we're talking about the best radio to buy for FPV drones. Welcome back, you 186,000 subscribers, over 40 million views on the channel, and almost 10 years now on the Drone Camps channel. I'm Justin Davis. Today we're going to get into the best picks for 2023. Which radio should you buy? If you already have one, you're thinking about an upgraded radio, or just to kind of have a backup radio. We're going to talk about the community choices today and my top pick for 2023 so far. So let's go ahead and get into it. Number 5 out of 5.
Our number 5 best pick for 2023 is a budget radio from BetaFPV. This is the LiteRadio 3 Pro. You can get it in an ELRS version, or you can get the 4-in-1 version. And we're going to talk about the reasons that we like this one for the cost, the value of this radio, and maybe some pros and cons as well, why you might want to consider something like the competitor, the heavier and bigger RadioMaster Zorro. But first, let's get into BetaFPV's LiteRadio 3 Pro. What we like about it, we like that it does have Hall gimbals included, and it has around a 15-hour runtime. It has a newly updated screen on here. You can run firmware versions such as Edge TX on here or OpenTX. It's native to OpenTX, which is nice. And I like the fact that this screen, I can see outside really, really well. So, and it's smaller. Some people want a smaller screen versus the Zorro has a much larger screen. I actually prefer the larger screen myself. But on the bottom, we have simulator support as well, but it does not support an external battery. The Zorro does, but this one does not. So once this battery dies on the inside of this radio, you can't replace it, put a new one in there. You have to recharge it by USB-C at 0.6 amps. So that does take a while to recharge, but I would say this is not the greatest radio as well if you are a pincher, because there is a lot of space here, but this one doesn't have the side screw inputs for a 3D printed mold on the side. Some people do that with the Zorro. I'm going to show you that coming up next, but this range on this radio is about 6 kilometers running ELRS, so you can get way out there, and it's about not almost half the weight of the RadioMaster Zorro at 435 grams, and this one is only 280 grams. And I have to say, the switches, guys, they're not my favorite. They are kind of flat switches. They won't break in transport as easily as the RadioMaster Zorro switches, but I prefer the little tiny stick switches versus these flat switches. Just my personal preference. Take that with a grain of salt. But overall, this one I picked because it was one of the easiest to bind up with an ELRS receiver from BetaFPV and just go out and start flying ELRS without a lot of updates and issues running the ELRS configurator, trying to find a target for your particular receiver. And BetaFPV makes a pretty nice case for it. It has kind of a canvas outside, rubber grip handle, nice zipper, and the radio fits comfortably in there. They also have a nice neck strap that you can get that has a little clasp right there, so you can use that as well. And it comes with some gimbal covers, which I really like. These are not 3D printed. They're actually kind of injection molded, soft silicone gimbal covers. So that will keep your radio safe during transport. I do like this case a lot. Our number 4 pick is a community favorite. Some people like this radio and some people don't. I happen to like it. I think it feels like a quality radio, and I like the large screen. It's debatable. Some people don't like the large screen, so it really depends on what you like, honestly. It's all about what you like. So for the RadioMaster Zorro being number 4, it's because it's around $99. And they do have an ELRS version or a 4-in-1 version. They also have upgradable gimbal kits available now for miniature AGO1 CNC full metal gimbals, which I think is super, super cool. And this one's around 435 grams. It does feel more solid in your hands. If you're a pincher as well, the cool thing about this, they did add little slots on the side for screws so you can put bolts through. 3D printed little kind of mod on here to give pinchers a better feel and better grip on this radio. It is kind of streamlined along here, and as you're a pincher, you're just looking for that extra grip, and you can do that with this one. The LiteRadio 3 Pro does not have that from BetaFPV. I also like the fact that they do the miniature switches on here for the 16 channel setup. I've never broken one of these switches, guys, so that's good. good news. Unlike my taller ones on my TX16S, which I pretty much broken half of the switches on there at this point, but I do like the interface. I feel like the screen for me is nice and bright. You can turn the contrast up and down, the brightness up and down, but I felt like it was pretty intuitive to run around inside this radio and make selections, make changes. And I have to say, this reminds me of the old QX7 screen, which I kind of like myself. And I like the fact that it does come stock with Hall gimbals, and it also supports simulators like all of these radios nowadays do. But I'm not a big fan of the 18350 batteries that are in here. These are smaller half-size batteries that only get us around a 2-hour runtime on this radio. If you're running a high output power, you're probably going to get about maybe around an hour and a half or less. So that's something to take in consideration. But unlike the LiteRadio 3 Pro from BetaFPV, this one supports an external battery power. So you can put a battery bank on this and you can run it all day, much better than not having that type of support and a built-in internal battery, in my opinion. So that's some things that people like and don't like about this radio. But if you're running the 4-in-1 version, don't worry about it as much, because you're going to get about 4 to 5 hours runtime out of this particular radio. So this one has a love-hate relationship with some people, but I feel like it's a nice quality feeling radio, and it has a lot of room for expansion if you're one of the guys that likes to do mods and add things on here. So it also supports Crossfire, Ghost, and Tracer with this back micro module bay, which is kind of cool. So no mods necessary to get things running on this radio, and I feel like this is a good choice still in 2023. Now, our number 3 pick for 2023's compact long-range style remote is going to be the TBS Tango 2. This has been one of my all-time favorite compact long-range radios, with great penetration, running Crossfire to any of my quads or FPV planes. I use it from pretty much everything that I fly, and I love this radio until I left it on my dashboard and it's somewhere along the highway. Rest in peace, my Tango 2. I wish I had another one, but for around $200, I didn't just run out and buy another one. So this one is small, but it's more expensive than the other ones. It does have the option to do a DIY external module bay on there on the back, but you're going to have to set that up yourself, and it's not compatible with Ghost, but you can run ELRS on here as well, and it also supports OpenTX if you'd like to do that. It is a premium radio, and it does not have 500 hertz packet support for ELRS as well. So that's one other kind of small detail, but as far as the penetration goes, this radio is super great for kind of flying bandos or flying, I would say, medium range. I wouldn't really use this radio for super long range, say 5, 6 miles out. I know people have done that before, but I think that's probably one thing that I would try to avoid. And I feel like for one of the most reliable radio systems out there, TBS Crossfire has not done me wrong. And every time I go out and use it, I honestly have never had a fail-safe with it. So I feel like the $200 price point is money well spent for the TBS Tango 2. And now we're moving on to our number 2 budget pick for 2023. This is the People's Choice Award. The RadioMaster Boxer starts in at around $99 for the CC2500 version. What does that mean? Well, it just means that you have less receiver types you can bind to, but all the standard FlySky, FRSky, Futaba protocols are in that one. If you want to spend a little more money, around $30 to $40 more, we'll get you the ELRS version or the JP 4-in-1 version, which I prefer. It is expandable on the back with a full-size JR module bay. It has rubber grips on the side, which people love, and Joshua Barwell seems to love the way this feels in his hands, and I feel like it does feel kind of better than the game style controllers, but even better than my TX16S, because it has these great little thumbs or index finger slots here, which kind of naturally your fingers can fall into. And this just feels about the perfect size and width, as well as stick height. The sticks aren't odd. They're not too tall like the old jumper sticks were too tall. And that radio was really odd, but this one seems to hit all the points. It also has switches across the top, which are great for your flight modes. It has these nice pot switches here that have notches, switches. You also have simulator support on this guy, and you have flat button switches on the top for arming and disarming, and you have a replaceable antenna. Thank God this one has one, because my TX16S now has a broken antenna, and I have to take the case apart to replace it. If you somehow break this one, you can unscrew it and put a new one on there, unless you break it at the base where the connector is. So one thing to think about there, it's nice that you can replace this. Now, this screen also, it reminds me of the QX7 from FreeSky back in the day. This one comes native as well with Edge TX, and you can expand this module for external module support on the back. And this one does support Ghost, TBS, and ELRS modules, which I think is super great. You can see E inside there means that I do have an internal ELRS version of my Boxer here. So you also have this fabric length adjustable strap back here. Instead of having an aluminum kickstand, I kind of prefer the aluminum kickstand that folds on the TX16S, because I can prop the radio up on the bench and have the correct angle when I'm looking to change model settings. So that's kind of different. I haven't seen that from any other radio manufacturer out there, so this is very different. Also in the back, we have a super long runtime on this radio, and this should make everyone super happy. Over 20 hours with a 2S 6000 milliamp LiPo that they now have available for the RadioMaster Boxer, which is great. They also put two kind of holes, exit holes here in the battery door, which allow the XT30 cable to come out and power your external module. So not only can you power your internal radio, you can also power the module from this 2S battery. You also have the support for two 18650 Li-ion packs in here as well. But I think that this one has so many expandable options, and RadioMaster really thought this one out when they released it. And I just love the fact that they have that new battery. It also has tension adjustment from the front, not the back, like some of the other radios that we've reviewed in the past. And the interface itself is super easy to get into. So just push the model button right there and you're into your models. We also have even video games on this one too. It came preloaded with Asteroids and some Atari games from the 1980s, which on this little screen is a lot of fun. We should do a video just on the video games that are included in this radio. The screen is very bright as well. You can see it outside, which is really, really nice. And now Edge TX has its own target for flashing the RadioMaster Boxer. So, and I would say that if you're wondering what the range might be on this one, you can, you're able to get 1 to 10 miles out with ELRS now. I believe Wesley Faherty and some guys just did around 100-kilometer test with ELRS. Just today I saw that video, so that was super cool that's been now tested out around 100 kilometers. That's quite a bit of range, so that should be totally fine for all of you guys out there. And what I really love about this one also is it does, obviously it supports simulators, but it also has QC 3.0 quick charging option. So unlike the BetaFPV LiteRadio 3 Pro, that one has a 0.6 input, 5 volt input. So this one supports that faster quick charge. And yes, it is also great that it supports Crossfire, Ghost, and most other modules out there for the external module based support. So this one gets our top choice in this video outside the TX16S, which happens to be still my daily driver and Joshua Barwell's daily driver. But if you're on a budget and you want the best radio out there, get the RadioMaster Boxer. Now, our number one pick for best 2023 radio, even though this one came out last year, the RadioMaster TX16S and the Max Edition, which I have here, are still my number one choice. Now, this is my personal number one choice. I think that the community number one choice right now is the RadioMaster Boxer. So if you're looking for the hottest radio out there, grab the Boxer. If money is no issue, then we're going to jump right into our number one pick. Now, the TX16S Max Edition right here, it's over $200, around $275 for this version. If you want to get the TX16S Mark II version, you can get that one for around $229. They also have a pretty sick Lumineer version with blue CNC kind of additions there. That's kind of nice. It looks a little bit different in the styling and the case versus the original TX16S here. Kind of a little more rigid design. It doesn't have the carbon fiber look on the front like mine. I kind of prefer this carbon fiber look, even though it's not
real carbon fiber. And I also love the fact that you can get upgradable side plates. These are leather RadioMaster side plates. It has rubber grips in the back. I love the foldable kickstand for putting it inside my radio case. And then when I'm on the bench, I can kick it out like that. And it has the perfect angle for looking at my touchscreen, color screen on the front. This touchscreen is totally customizable. You can also get some upgraded AG01 gimbals as well. These are full metal CNC gimbals. These are like one of the best gimbal kits out there. They go right in pretty easily. You can also add LEDs inside there as well, which is kind of cool. And you can see from all the broken switches on this radio that, man, I've been using this one so much. And this one honestly got left in a rental car down in California. And when I got it back, the guy from the rental car company had broken some of my switches, transporting it back to me, but I can replace those. They're a little cable that plugs in. You can also get switch covers now from RadioMaster. You can get these packs and they're all labeled. Look at that arm and my modes right there. These are my flight modes and my arm switch. And mostly when I'm flying, I only have 3 switches active. I have an arm, a flight mode, and a beeper switch pretty much when I'm flying on the regular. Now, it also has anodized aluminum upgrade kits that you can get for this radio to make it look super sick. You can add different colors on here. You can get blue, yellow, green, and red. You can also customize your on-off switch. They will engrave your pilot name on here as well. So when they sent me mine, they engraved drone camps on my on-off switch. So I really love that. Now, the touchscreen, Joshua Barwell was talking about this the other day. It's kind of like an afterthought. The touchscreen Navi in here, it really doesn't work that great. So it's kind of wonky and quirky, and sometimes you select the wrong thing on accident, and it seems like an afterthought. So the touchscreen is nice, but it's not really something that I use. I honestly still use my roller bar here, my push button, and my model menu, just like I did with all the way back to my QX7. So it's pretty easy to use. Return, page forward, page back, telemetry, system, model, and the jog wheel here. Now on the back, as far as your battery is concerned, you have some options for that. You can now fit the 2S LiPo from RadioMaster in this bay, which I stole from my Boxer. So now I get over 20 hours runtime on that battery. It's a 2S 6000 milliamp. You can also run Ghost. You can run the full-size Crossfire module, which is this one. This is the one I recommend with the diamond antenna. Most of the guys that are serious that you see on the biggest YouTube channels, these guys use the old school FPV long range guys. They are all still using this TBS Crossfire full-size module. You can get other versions of it, like the light version, but this is the one I recommend if money's not an object and you want the highest power output. This will output around 2 watt, which is kind of crazy. You can probably get well over 20 miles range with this type of module. I recommend that you use the TBS Diversity receivers, probably the best receiver to use out there on the planet for long range and the best penetration and not losing your signal. The one thing that I really don't like about this radio is the fact that it doesn't have an unscrewable antenna for the internal antenna. So if I want to take this one off, if I'm using the module bay in the back, I can take it off, but I can't with this one because you're not allowed to do that. They didn't make that an option. Maybe the new version, they will have that. Just looking at my Lumineer one, same thing here. It's not removable, which I kind of hate. And recently I broke it. Something happened on the way home, one of my latest flight tests, and I came home and now I have a broken antenna there. So that's kind of a pet peeve. But for my daily driver, this is still the one that I love and cherish. It feels great in my hands. It doesn't feel quite as portable as something like the RadioMaster Boxer, but I still prefer this one. And I love it. It will have a little shorter runtime because of the larger screen. But if you're looking for the longest runtime, the most mid-size compact radio, best price out there, definitely still the RadioMaster Boxer. And it would be number one if I still didn't love this one so much. I really do love it, and I'm going to stick with it for now. Works with simulators, and it has a ton of options. And the stock setup on here with ELRS will probably get you out 10 miles. So you have tons of range and tons of options with this one. Man, I just think it looks cool. Doesn't that look cool? I think it looks great. So if you want to support me, guys, and you love my videos, please do become a Patreon. If you watch my content and you're constantly watching my content, become a Patreon, $2 a month, and you'll help keep my channel going and all these cool reviews coming out, and some really honest feedback about the pros and cons of each new product coming out in FPV. So become a Patreon and hop into our Discord, and we'll put that link down below. We're in there every single day. If you need support, send me an email. If you're wondering which radio is right for you, I will definitely help you, like Joshua will. So we're here to support you guys, and I appreciate you watching. And I'm Justin Davis, guys. Take care. And thanks for watching my favorites in 2023. You can check out the links, and I will see you on the next one.